Hello and welcome back to Behind the Eyes of Our Youth. I am Malaysia Slappy and I'm here today with
Brianni Carter.
who is a student representative on the school district of Philadelphia board. So how was your day?
My day was well. It was nice.
Got you.
How was yours?
Uh, it was calm. It was, nothing crazy. Why did you apply to be a student rep?
So honestly, I had no idea what a student board rep was before my principal introduced me to the position and she sent me the application link. And I was just like, I was reading what a student board rep was, and it was all about bridging communication for administration and the district board members and students. And it was mainly about advocacy. And I think that was just basically something that I do on a regular day basis. I've always been in like a leadership form since like middle school. So I've always been in a leadership role, whether it's being the cap. Well, I'm student class president right now, but I've been student class president since my freshman year. And as a student class president, I have to just practice advocacy, listening to my students, listening to my peers, and hearing what they have to say about their year and any input they have, and basically communicate that to administration. So when I heard that, basically what being a student board rep was doing that on just a larger scale with a bigger impact, with it not just being students in my class, but being on a district wide level. I was like, that's perfect for me. Like, I love advocacy. I love listening to people. I love making an impact. And I wanted to just make an impact beyond just my own school, but hopefully creating a legacy for district kids, basically showing them that they can create a change in the school, showing them that if they have an issue, if they want to communicate any ideas they have, that that's possible. So basically, I just wanted to advocate on a larger scale and be a part of the conversations where decisions were being made that impacted student life. And I also really I love learning new things, like things that I didn't know before. I like mastering things. So I had no idea what policy work was. I didn't know any policy and practice things at all. But just hearing that, learning about the process of how thing goes, how the decision making happens for students really interested me, because when it comes to what the board does, it impacts the student lives every day to day. So being in that room where that conversation is happening, that's going to impact us. I just thought it would be great for me because it goes into me being, I'm a very curious person. I'm very determined and I'm a big advocate. So all of those qualities kind of help me like, yes, this is perfect for me. Like I got nothing.
Got you. And the next question, you kind of answered a little bit of it, but what does the day-to-day of a student rep look like? Like, what does your day as a student rep look like?
Okay. So I would think day to day, I would kind of say, I don't know, can I talk a little bit more about like week to week? Because I'm day to day, we do like little work, but it kind of is all working cumulatively to I would say each month maybe. So basically, I would say my experience as a student board rep has been a learning process. Like I talked about, like I've been learning a lot. I've had homework on how the district works. I've been learning about different info sessions, collaborating with different students from across the district, going to different types of events. I've been to a lot of events about sharing student voices. I've worked with students across the district to turn ideas into action, creating plans to improve schools and amplify student use voices. I participated trying to think. So basically, I'll like learn about a certain topic, whether it's like how policy works. That's like kind of something we're learning right now. So I'm learning about policy. I'm reading different types of policies. I just finished a homework assignment for reading policy works, different policies that are going to be in place, and basically. I'll take in this information and think about how this is going to impact student life. I'll take in the information and think about how are students going to react to this? What students are going to be impacted by this? How are they? Where are they going to need? Are they going to need support? And I kind of go and it's a lot of thinking about different perspectives. I would say you have to have the empathy. Yeah, it's just like a lot of student engagement I focus on. And I go to a lot of different events, thinking about student perspectives. And when doing that, I basically kind of was opened up to a whole new world because I'm like now I was opened up to a whole new world of being a public figure in a way, because now people like can recognize me. Students from like different schools I never even heard of have recognized me, and I wanted to talk about different ideas they have for their schools. Um, We do a lot of weekly check-ins at our school, weekly check-ins with meetings and stuff like that. And with our weekly check-ins, the board members kind of come together and we do updates. We've done orientations about governance versus operations of the district. And we did a lot of, we attended a lot of, oh, sorry. I attended monthly board meetings, listening to people speak about their issues and what's mattered to them.
What type of issues have the students brought up to your attention?
Okay. When it comes to, it's been a lot of issues that have been brought up, different aspects of issues. I think a big issue, right? A big issue that we've talked about recently is equity for students and then also school safety. We have a lot of conversations about that. Like many students have brought up the importance of feeling both physically and emotionally safe in school. This includes school concerns about like school climate, support systems, and making sure students feel comfortable and secure in their environment. We've had different conversations about equity. When we're talking about equity, I've heard from students about unequal access to opportunities, resources, and support across different groups. And this is something I care deeply about, like ensuring every student feels included, supported, and given a fair chance to succeed. When that comes to like resources, some issues that I've actually been in a conversation with is discussing the wellness policy. So the wellness policy was actually, I believe it was created by students for students. And I was in I believe it was a Heights Forum meeting, and they were just discussing the concerns that they had about their school comfortability, their school wellness, a bathroom limit, stuff like that. And I was just in that room writing down notes, taking down what the students had concerns of, and hearing them share these concerns and being able to create their own policy that was then applied to one of our board meetings. It was a really rewarding. I would say it was a rewarding on my part to see that I was in the room where students thought about this policy, thought about this idea. What can they say? What do they want to happen? And then seeing it go all the way to the board and seeing the board handle the policy and through all of the. Sorry, I'm trying to find the words, but basically seeing how the process of how policy can get created just through advocacy over an issue was really rewarding, and seeing that I guess I was in a helping sorts of bridging that communication from the board to the students and helping the board see that this is a policy that students feel very passionate about. I do support stuff like that. I think that was it was a good reward to see like how this issue came to be into a policy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But back to like other issues, I think just a lot of advocacy. Students often talk about how they want their voices to be heard more directly in decision making that affects them. And I care about making sure student input is not just collected, but also considered and acted on in meaningful ways.
How many board meetings have you had so far? If you
Um, I've had three so far. Well, no, I had for board action meetings, it's been three board action meetings. We have them once a month. And then there's been different like types of community feedback meetings and policy meetings. But for board action meetings, we have three and we have one coming up in April.
got you. And my next question was, what does those look like? Like, how does this go for you?
So for a board meeting day, I'll basically head down to 440 and then the board reps are sat onto the board seat and we'll basically sit down, and the kind of setup how it goes is it's normally we do our updates for the month. So like so the student board rep will share like what we've done this month, what work we've done, what we've learned, and how it impacted students, and just giving our feedback. I think that's one of my favorite points of being a student board rep, or just something I really appreciate, is that we have that time to really share. Like we have all that time to share our feedback about what's happening in the district, give our opinion for that, take in what the students and our peers are telling us, and really have that voice to share to the board. And the board really listens. Like they just take the time to really listen to the student feedback. Like you can tell that it's not something that goes unnoticed. So I think that's one of my that's like after we do that, then it goes into a streeter presentation, or no, it goes into the presentations for what we have that month. And that's when the superintendent will do his presentation. Then we'll do a lot of student feedback.
Got you. And the question that will follow that, that you semi-answered is, have you been able to bring up any student issues? And if so, which kinds?
Sorry, can you ask that question one more time?
That was a little quiet. Have you been able to bring up any student issues? Kind of like
Yeah.
answer that.
Have we brought up student issues like at our board meetings?
Yeah, like actively.
Yeah, sometimes we give feedback on action items that the board is voting on, if it's something that the agenda like that is important to the student. And we get to ask questions after the presentation. So we get to ask questions pertaining to what the action item would say. And I think that that's like an opportunity where we can bring up like any issues that we had, but it's more just of a, I feel like it's more just of an open conversation for us to discuss and get a lot of perspectives out. Um, we get to include and share student experience to bring up issues that we are experiencing at that time when we ask our questions or when we share our feedback.
And what are your goals after high school?
Okay, so after high school, well, after high school, I'm hoping to get my IB diploma, which is International Baccalaureate Diploma for school, and I'll get that like the summer after I graduate. So hopefully I get that. I have to make all the credits for it. And then I want to major in nursing because I just love nursing. Like helping people is my passion. I want to pursue a career in medicine and I want to hopefully pursue that career in medicine internationally because I want to explore like the sociological impacts with the medical field because I'm just interested in kind of, I guess, the interconnecting relationship between sociology and medicine.
How do you manage student life and any other clubs and while also doing the student rep for the school district?
I had to practice time management like the first month of me being a rep because so I do a lot across the school. The class president, the varsity volleyball captain, I'm the VP of the African American Student Union, I'm a student ambassador, and I'm in like three other clubs as members, like media club or what else? I just do a lot. I'm very involved in my student life. So managing that already, and then I'm also in like a higher rigorous class load. Like my IB classes, they're very rigorous, very high. Like you need a lot of time for homework, stuff like that. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. But managing that with my board position, I think I had to really learn time management. I had to write down everything I'm going to do, everything that's due, everything that I have to get done in a day. And I just write a list and then I figure out what's a realistic time for me to finish everything. And I think managing everything I have to do, and then especially it being junior year, it's already extra stressors, extra proms coming, exams are coming, everything's coming. I think a big thing I do is I just practice self-care. Like my weekends, my Saturday, I don't do anything but what I feel like doing. And I think that's a good practice for myself. And I'm not gonna say that's gonna work for everyone, but I think doing self-care and doing what you enjoy yourself so you can get that break is good. And I think when it comes to just like managing my board responsibilities with school, I kind of just manage, okay, I'm going to get homework done during lunch. So sometimes it is self-sacrifice, but it's better so then when I get home from my board meeting, I won't have to do anything. I can just go straight to bed. So it's a bit of a challenge, honestly, and I'm still working how to get it, perfected. But I think I really just try to get everything I do like what is most important, get it done, and then that's what I do. And then at the same time, I try to just, I guess, not be as stressed out. I think my mindset really helps me like handle everything because like if I start stressing myself, like I'm like, okay, I have this to do, this to do, this to do. I'm not gonna have enough time. Like I'm already setting myself up for failure. I just have the mindset, okay, it's gonna get done. That's what I always say, it's gonna get done, it's gonna get done. So I just find the time to get it done, and yeah.
Is there anything else you would like for us to know or anything else you would like to say?
Just speaking about like in my experience as a student board rep, I think that it's really eye-opening and it's a great experience to see how decisions get made, to see how the student impact, how student input is put into student impact. Um, I can talk about how the role is important with student engagement. For a student board rep, I think that it's so important to have a student at these conversations when you're talking about student life, especially at a district-wide level. You have to have the students there. So I think that I love that the district even has the opportunity for there to be student board reps, and they've been having this opportunity. Um, I think that for any students that just have a passion for advocacy, have a passion about policy, have a passion about making change, or being in those conversations where you get to discuss things that you wouldn't always talk about in school. You wouldn't always talk about what rules are happening, or even discuss what's going on a district level, what's going on policy wise, what's going on with students all over. You kind of, when you're a student, I feel like before I was a student board rep, I kind of stayed in my bubble of, okay, what's happening at Girls High? Like what's only happening at Girls High? And then when I'm hearing about what's happening in the Northeast, I'm like, I had no idea that's happening. So I think that having a student board rep who's able to like listen and have the access to talk to so many different, oh my God, I'm stuttering, I'm so sorry, having the access to talk to different students across the district on a district wide level is so important. Even being in this position, like through facilities, in budget season, it's a learning experience because I knew nothing about budget season at all. When we were at that meeting, I was like, okay, I need to really understand how this is happening. But I'm really well supported though. Like whenever I have a question, it always gets answered, and I'm never just like left there not understanding what's happening. But for me to be only 17 and we're talking about budget plans and for talking about facilities, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, I have to really understand what's happening so that I can understand on how it impacts student life. I really appreciate the board members on my team. The board members always want our input. They always want to see how the students are impacted by something. So I think that this role has definitely teaching me how to advocate and really help my communication skills. I'm still in the process, but hopefully, when I'm done, my communication skills, my advocacy will be better. Because I think before I was a student board rep. I was like as a school leader, but like being put in positions where I have to talk publicly or like basically, I don't know, I wasn't used to having, I guess, not attention, but you just know, like when people know who you are, you kind of have to like understand the position you're in. So I think being in a student board rep position, I have had to practice my communication skills and basically just practice good life lessons that I'm going to need when I leave high school, which has been a great position for me as well. Um, I think the role kind of helps me understand what's going on across the district, and it helps me find ways to inform other students what's happening across the district, like students who may not understand what's happening. It helps me learn so I can find a better way to communicate to students. And I have to work with not just like high school students, I have to work from K to 12. So it's like I have to understand, okay, how are middle schoolers going to understand this? How are elementary school kids going to understand this? So it helps you kind of thinking outside the box and like going back to, okay, when I was a sixth grader, am I going to understand a whole list of policies being laid out to me? No. So you have to think of different ways you can communicate that information. Um, and I think that I would just encourage other students to like really seek out this role in general. If anything I said did like you felt like you were aligned with, because I think this is such a good role for students across. And I will say it is a lot of work to be in this position. It's a lot of dedication, but I think is very worth it because you get to see, like, I feel like I get rewarded because I kind of see the impact already, and I'm not even done my term. So, like, it is a rewarding position. You get to see the impact that you're making. You get to be in the room where it happens. So, like, it feels very, like, wow, like, I did not know all of this happened at all. So, this is it's really crazy at the same time because at the same place you're a student, but then you're also in this board position. But you have to understand, like, the hat, you have to wear both hats at the same time. You can't just take off the student hat and now you're a board member. Like, you have to wear the same position because that's what the role is for. You can't forget that you are a student. You have to think about the student life. So I think that's like big key on how I try to remember, like, okay, I have all this to do, but I have to remember, okay, how is this going to impact student life and stuff like that. Also, I had to learn a lot about like how the district works because I think when I think of like district, I had to think about like, I guess, like the governance versus the operations. So like the board, we're a governance body. So we kind of have to oversee more. I'm trying to explain it in more simpler terms, but a governing body is separate from the operations body, and the operations body is more administration and stuff like that. But when we're talking about the governing body, we're thinking more of policy work. Like, you know how a policy is so much different than a classroom rule. So like classroom rule is the operation, but a policy is something that impacts the entire district.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning into this special episode of Behind the Eyes of Our Youth. If you were encouraged or provoked by this episode, be sure to let us know on social media. We are on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at BEO Youth. Be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe. My name is Malaysia Slappy. Thanks for listening. You played volleyball this year?
Yeah.
You played King?
I have no idea. I don't remember last season. I don't think we played King last season.
I was going to say, because I managed volleyball. I feel like I would have remembered this.
Yeah. I really do appreciate your like support during the podcast. I was pretty nervous, but you really helped me stay engaged.
I'm about to say, I do the same things. That's why. Like, I have ADHD, so I ramble all the time.
Yeah, like I'm always constantly just talking. I'm like, okay, hopefully I'm saying I have a point. Hopefully I'm getting it. Yeah.
I'm about to say, because sometimes I even forget the questions, so you just, you get there after some time. But
yeah.
Thing with me is when I'm trying to focus on something too much, then I start stumbling on the words and stuff like that. That's why I was like, I'm gonna be patient with you, because I hope that you be patient with me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And thank you again for the opportunity.
No problem. We actually very much enjoyed like having you on the pod. It was very informative, and I believe a lot of students will actually love to learn that they can have a different role within their community other than just a student.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, genuinely.